I like how we talk about all that, and then you're just like, oh yeah, a week or two ago, sorry I couldn't do it. I was just with Mastodon. That's a
You
thing.
know, that whole thing. I don't know if you saw that or not, but just doing stuff. Had a gig. I had a show.
Dude, it was so cool. I was looking up, like, obviously they're like, oh, Ben's playing with Mastodon. It's like, oh my God. And I think the actual first time that I heard that you were doing it was through Metal Sucks. And it was
Oh,
like,
right.
oh, look at this. And it's just like, wait, Ben Eller. Of course, it's that Ben Eller. But you're always just like, is it that Ben Eller? And then it shows up,
Same
it's
one.
you. And you're just ripping on stage with them, man. It was so
Oh,
cool to see.
thank
So
you, man.
congrats to that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it was really a dream gig and an ultimate honor because I've been obsessed with that band for so long. So it was a pretty surreal experience. And dude, I'll tell you this, it was so fun being there, like on the scene, watching stuff unfold, right? Because basically the announcement of Brent's departure happened like after we touched wheels in the Dominican Republic. Like right as the plane landed, I opened up my phone and it's like, oh, there's the news. And I had all my friends and stuff text me. It's like, dude, did you see that Brent's out of the band? Did you see Brent left the band? Holy shit. Who do you think they're going to get to replace him? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. you know? And then it was like I think it was like the next day, because we played the last day of the fest. The next day, people were sending me all this speculation. And then, like, the next day after that, I guess somebody on the beach spotted me at sound check because the stage was like right on the beach. And so we were doing sound check early in the morning, and like a couple people lined up on the beach, and we're taking photos and stuff. And it kind of got leaked. It's like possible Ben Eller sighting at Tool in the Sand. It was just really cool watching the breadcrumbs get dropped, and then it's like, boom, there it is.
It sounds like such things that happen in wrestling where it's like, oh, this person
Yeah,
signed, and then the dirt sheets have it for a while, and they're like,
right.
oh, they're backstage at Raw or AEW. Oh, they didn't show up today. Oh, they were backstage, but nothing happened. And then all of a sudden they show up, and you're like, what happened? This is crazy.
I'm telling you, man. And like the sleuth work of the internet is truly incredible. Those are some Carmen San Diego kids out there for sure.
And I like too how you had to kind of play it coy. Oh my God, this happened, and especially for you too, with all the videos you've done. You've done a lot on Mastodon too through the years
Oh
about
yeah.
like, oh, playing this riff and playing this riff, and you look through the internet, you search Mastodon guitar and things like that. Obviously, everyone in Mastodon over the years has just been a phenomenal player, phenomenal music. If you're listening to this podcast, you're probably a fan of Mastodon already. If you're not, please go check out any record in their catalog, and
Well,
you're gonna
yeah.
get just some amazing music. But for you have a lot of these chops for the Mastodon stuff already, kind of even going into the gig. But the video that you did highlighting the experience, you were like, man, I only had a couple days to do it. And it was
Yeah.
literally listen to it, play through it, wait till I mess up, play through it again, get to that same spot, and then kind of dive through it. It was cool to hear about like the process of you getting into the Mastodon gig too.
Oh yeah, that's the behind the scenes stuff that nobody knows. Like I saw a lot of people being like, Ben loves Mastodon. He probably knew all these songs already. I really did not. Like out of that set list, which it was a 17 song set, but I learned 20 something songs and we narrowed it down from there. I mean, I probably knew, by heart maybe four of them, and the rest it was just like, man, frantically learn this stuff as fast as you can, as accurate as you can. And it was a real challenge, man. Thankfully, I had earlier that year done the Shiprocked gig, right? Me and Andy Wood and our drummer Andy Campbell, we do these crazy rock cruise gigs and all that, where we're sort of the core of the house band of the main event, which is called the Stowaways, which is kind of this all-star jam band kind of thing, where we choose different members of different bands that are on the cruise, and we all do like a one-time only cover song together, and then the next song is a different lineup, then the next song is a different lineup. It's a ton of fun. It's one of the most cool things I get to do every year. But it involves learning, 50, 60 songs, which I had just done on guitar and bass to make sure it was all covered in case somebody had to cancel or whatever. So I had just been, doing this marathon cram session anyway. So I think my brain was already kind of in that mode of, transcribing, learning, memorizing. Because you know how it is, man. You're a player too. It's like if you don't use those muscles, they atrophy. I don't know if you've gone like a long time between gigs and learning material and memorizing it, but man, if you've not done it, like I remember coming out of COVID, right, when we had no gigs, some of those first gigs I had coming back, dude, it took a while to dust it off, to get those memorization chops back and those transcription chops back.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
thankfully, I'd kind of already been in that sort of, cram for material mode because of Shiprocked. So then when that fell in my lap, it's like, okay, I'm ready.
Now, here's a question for you too, because obviously you've learned lots of Mastodon over the years. There were songs that you didn't know. When it comes to the songs that you did know, I know a lot of bands that when you do sessions for them, when I've done sessions for them, it's like, okay, cool. Well, here's how it's really played as opposed to the way that you kind of heard it. The thing that's always been great about you is how so guitar centric you are. Like, watch any of your videos, hear any of the ways that you talk. You're really as dialed in, I think, as possible to
Thank you.
everything from what string you're using. And even if you're just like, there's a fingering that you wouldn't usually think to use because you could just do it this way, he probably did it this way or she did it this way because that's the way that you hear it on the record. For you, when you go into Mastodon and you're playing things the way that you learn them, is there a conversation with them like, hey, this is like really close, but here's that extra like 1% to make it as accurate as possible? Or were you pretty
Absolutely.
much like you had that conversation too?
But yeah, absolutely. Because I want to make sure I'm doing this stuff as accurately as possible because that's what the fans are there to see. And especially for that time period with the band, coming out of this relationship they had with Brent Hinds, who is a legend, one of my favorite players, one of the most important players in metal of the past 20 something years, right? That's a big leap of faith for the fans to be like, how is the band going to carry on with somebody else, whoever it may be? So I kind of felt a responsibility myself to be like, don't worry, whoever steps up is still going to play this stuff accurately. The songs are going to sound the way that you're familiar with. Well, a little different, obviously. I'm not Brent. Nobody is. So it was important for me to put the faith in the fans, to restore faith in the fans, and also to pay respect to the music. Because to me, this is music I've been a fan of for 20 something years now. And so for me, it was very important to honor the material.
And you're talking about so many records too. Like Mastodon's
Yeah.
a band that record to record, you can tell it's Mastodon, but you can hear a definite difference between like March of the Fire Ants, Colony of Birchmen, and everything in between and after.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's one of those things where it's like, there are some bands where you're like, all right, cool. This is this. I get this. This guitarist always does this. And this is kind of the style that they do. Like for me, I'll listen to an August Burns Red record. I listen to all of my love August Burns Red, but you listen to August Burns Red and you're like, hey, if you liked Constellations or you liked all of these other ones, you're probably going to feel pretty similar on all of them. That's not a dig. That's just, hey, some bands have that. Other bands go, hey, we want to have different things that we do on different records. So for you, you're kind of not even learning like one band. You're learning different years of the
Wow.
band. And almost it feels like you're learning different styles altogether, I'm sure.
No, you're exactly right. And that's a great way to look at it. It's like it really is like learning different eras, of the same band. And the cool thing with that group too is, everybody writes in that group. So the songs that Brent wrote feel different under your hands than the songs that Bill wrote. And people don't even know in that band how much stuff Braun, the drummer, writes. He writes a lot of stuff, and his riffs feel nothing like Brent's riffs or Bill's riffs or Troy's riffs. So it is really interesting and it's really fun. But that's part of why I like the challenge so much, is because it isn't that I already know exactly how this is going to lay out on the neck. I know how this is going to go. It's always something different that keeps you at attention. That's something I've always really enjoyed about that band. Yeah. And yeah, you're right, man. All those little things like making sure you're playing stuff on the right string set. Is this an open string or a fretted note? All that stuff really matters to me. So I really like digging into the minutia there.